In this video, you're gonna get 9 books that will help you solve 9 life problems. These have been handpicked and curated by us. When we spoke to real people, the stories that moved us, that's the only ones that have made a cut here. It'll give you an approach, a framework, a roadmap to really solve them. Apart from that, we are also gonna give all these 9 books away. So keep watching the video to know how to get that. We are now glad to be a part of the 01 Media Network by Zerodha. The first book is by David Goggins. Now, this book is written by someone who failed a pull-up test once and then ended up doing 4,034 pull-ups in just 24 hours. That's a world record, by the way. David Goggins went from an overweight kid who used to do pest control for cockroaches to becoming the only human ever to do all 3 combat training of America: Navy SEALs, the Air Force, and the Army Rangers. See, there is one chapter in this book called as Heaven's Gate.
But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you're judging us all now. So we're in line. We're all sitting there in line. And I'm next in line. David Goggins. I see my name and I see all this shit. And God goes, hey, you say, read this, man. And I'm reading this list and I'm seeing 182 pounds, Navy SEAL, Ranger School, motivational speaker, changing lives. Okay, man, pull-up record, all this shit. And I'm like, that's not me, man. And God looks at me and says, that's who you were supposed to be.
One of the best things that he talks about is how when we lift weights, we build calluses. Right? You get this thicker dead skin on your hands that'll just makes it easier for you to lift weight again and again. If you want to solve for any kind of motivation in life or mental strength, read this book. The second book is Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. See, this book is written by someone who lost 90% of his startup net worth, but somehow he pushed through and sold his company for 10,000 crore rupees. He today holds a fund that is the size of 45,000 crore rupees and is one of the biggest funds for startups in the world. The number one thing that this guy talks about, and the thing that touched me when I was reading this book, is that this book is for founders. I don't know about you, but when I used to read books about founders and leaders, almost none of them resonated. It was very academic, very framework driven on how to manage teams, and I kept thinking, maybe I am the problem. When I read this book, I realized, oh wow, the fact that this founder goes through shit every single hour but does not give up is just such a founder thing. It's just not happening to me. For example, Ben famously talks about how he sleeps like a baby. Now, normally when you think that sleeping like a baby means like sleeping peacefully, but if you really think about it, babies wake up every 2 hours and cry. That's exactly how he used to sleep. Because being a founder was physically breaking him down, but he chose to show up every single time. This book is highly recommended for anyone going through a hard time and wanting to understand how do you keep showing up. Now, the next is not a book recommendation, but a recommendation for your career. See, we build GrowthX to solve for career problems. Whether you're a product person, a marketing person, a strategy person, or even a founder, we are today hyper focused on getting every single person AI first. If that's something that you're interested in, you should check out GrowthX and apply with the link in the description. We are set to increase our pricing starting 1st of December. So if you've been thinking of applying, this is your chance. Now, the third book is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits by James Clear is actually a book about how habits can be built. If you struggle to be consistent, if you struggle to really follow through your goals because of consistency, this is the book for you. He went and studied every single successful person, whether it's an athlete, a successful businessman, an astronaut, and every single person who became the best in the world. He asked a simple question: what do they have in common? It's not about making massive changes every single day. It's about doing small 1% change change that compound massively. Let me give you an example. Back in the 1970s, the British cycling team was absolutely shit. They were the joke of the town and they were always ridiculed. Then they hired coach Dave Brailsford. His philosophy was simple: improve everything by 1%. Better seats, cleaner tires, energy gels that help the riders recover faster. Tiny changes stacked daily. 5 years later, they dominated Olympics and won the Tour de France again and again. They had 40 gold medals. You should read this book if you really want to create habits that last forever. Now, the fourth book is The Psychology of Money. Now, this one's a pretty famous book, and it's actually famous for a reason. It's a book that changed the way I look at money. And this book is a very different take on how do you really create wealth. See, Jatin, one of our members, said that this book completely changed his life. For example, he was obsessed with expensive cars and he would see a BMW and say, if I had that car, how cool would I look? Then he read this book, and what he understood is that when you see someone in a really cool car, you rarely think that that person is cool. You think that if you had the car, you would be cool. The main realization here is that nobody cares about your car. Everyone is just too busy thinking about their own life. Now, the fifth book is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the mental strength, but if you do not have control over your emotions, what's the use? This book actually helps you have the best emotional strength ever. It actually made me realize there are so many things that we do without even us knowing that we are doing it that will actually block our own growth. Whether it's procrastination, it's trauma, emotional wounds, fears, envy, all of it. The way this author breaks every single emotion down and in a step-by-step way tells you how to solve for it is brilliant. The sixth book is My Life in Full by Indra Nooyi. See, Indra Nooyi came to America with less than $500 in her pocket. She used to work graveyard shifts at 5 a.m. just to pay her tuition fees. This woman later became the first woman of color to lead a Fortune 500 company that we all know, PepsiCo. See, when we spoke to Akshaya, a GrowthX member who recommended us this book, she told that when she was reading this book, she cried. She cried in front of strangers because she had to leave her son of 2 years old to come back to work because she had seen her sister struggle to come back to the workforce. I think this is very relatable for you and I and all the men watching this video. Whether it's our mothers or aunts or sisters, a lot of them have to take a back seat to take care of us when we are small children. So, if you have a sister, a mother, or a woman friend, I think you should 100% gift this book. It really helps people understand how they can manage their work and their family to have a very balanced life. Now, the next book, book number 7, is recommended by Shashank Kumar, the founder of Razorpay. Shoe Dog is a book about Nike. We all know about Nike. Nike is a phenomenon in our generation. They are one of the coolest shoes in this generation. Everyone adored Nike. But while Nike was growing like crazy, the founder says that they were not even able to pay salaries on time. He had to do a freelance job just to pay for invoices. But from the outside, it looked like Nike was growing exponentially and everything is great. This book is recommended for everyone who goes into the comparison paralysis because comparison is the enemy of happiness. Now, the 8th book is this beautiful book called as Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati Roy. See, this is a beautiful book about forgiving your parents because somewhere or the other, we all have grudges with our parents on how they brought us up. If they were homemakers, we thought that they could have worked a little harder to provide us with a better life. If they worked hard, we thought they could have spent a little bit more time with us. But later in our lives, when we grow up, we realize that even they were just living their life for the very first time. Sumedha, who recommended this book, says that this book first broke her down and then fixed her. It gave her a closure that she did not know that she needed. She read it next to her mother and walked out of the book feeling blessed for the presence of her mother. This book is about forgiving your parents because only then can you start a fresh chapter. The last but definitely not the least is 7 Powers. Now, this book has been recommended by Rahul Mathur, who's a GrowthX member, and this is exactly his take on the book.
7 Powers is a framework that you can use to analyze a business. But to be very honest with you, if you use 7 Powers in almost everything in life, thinking about brand, switching cost, economies of scale, etc., you actually can connect a lot of dots even in your personal journey. It's a bit of a stretch, but I think for me, Hamilton Helmer's 7 Powers is a book that changed at least how I look at almost everything or everyone in the world completely.
Now, all these 9 books are up for a giveaway. How do you get one? Well, you have to do 3 things. First, subscribe to the channel. Second, like this video. And third, and most importantly, you have to drop a comment telling which book you want and why. We will select the most thoughtful answer and send the book to you from our side. Alright, thank you so much folks, and I'll see you in the next one.